During an interview on MSNBC with Lawrence O'Donnell, Joe Biden said that if he becomes president, he will veto Medicare for All if it passes the House and the Senate. So I'm going to play this clip for you, and then I'm going to discuss why this was so damn stupid. Watch.
Veto question. Let's flash forward. Your president, Bernie Sanders, is still active in the Senate. He manages to get Medicare for All through the Senate in some compromised version, the Elizabeth Warren version or other version. Nancy Pelosi gets a version of it through the House of Representatives. It comes to your desk. Do you veto it?
I would veto anything that delays providing the security and the certainty of health care being available now. If they got that through and by some miracle, and there was an epiphany that occurred, and some miracle occurred that said, okay, it's passed, then you got to look at the cost. I want to know, how did they find the $35 trillion? What is that doing? Is it going to significantly raise taxes on the middle class, which it will? What's going to happen? Look, my opposition isn't to the principle that you should have Medicare. I mean, everybody, health care should be a right in America. My opposition relates to whether or not, A, it's doable, two, what the cost is, and what the consequences for the rest of the budget are. How are you going to find $35 trillion over the next 10 years without having profound impacts on everything from taxes for middle class and working class people, as well as the impact on the rest of the budget?
Joe Biden is either a total idiot or he's lying to you, and he knows the actual facts that Medicare for All saves money. I don't know how many times I have to go over this. The amount of times I talk about healthcare on this channel, and it's because I have a personal experience with single-payer healthcare as a Canadian. I know how it works. I know what life is like in a single-payer system where I never think about healthcare ever. If I need to see a doctor, I see one, and then I leave. If I need to get surgery, I had surgery once. It's planned ahead of time. There's like one sheet of paper. I get my surgery. I go home. That's it. I'm not talking to insurance companies. I'm not paying any money out of pocket. Nothing. It's just guaranteed to me. It's like going to a public park. It's just there. I don't think about the public park. I don't think that I'm paying for it. It's just there. It's the exact same thing. It's just there. People right now, around 40,000 people a year die due to a lack of access to healthcare in America. 500,000 people go bankrupt every year due to medical bills. How can you afford the current system? And the reality is, as I told you, a Medicare for All system, a single payer system would save you money because it takes out the profit-making middleman. It's obvious. You put everyone onto one plan, you take out the for-profit middleman, it saves money. And I'm not just saying this. From Common Dreams here, here's what 22 separate studies found. Medicare for All would cost less than the for-profit status quo. No matter how you design a single-payer public health insurance system, it would have lower overall healthcare costs so long as for-profit private health insurers no longer exist to drive up healthcare costs. So again, this is why it's important to have a single-payer system and not a public option. Because in a public option, the private insurance companies can still drive up costs. But you take out those private insurance companies, you have a single-payer system, costs are driven down. And all you have to do is look outside your own borders. Canadians spend half of what Americans pay per capita on healthcare. And we are all guaranteed healthcare in Canada. Another point here. Politically, what Joe Biden said is stupid. Because in every single voting state so far, a single-payer option is more popular, wins a majority of support over the current system. Every single state that has voted so far in exit polling, they support Medicare for All over the current system. Here's a list of Super Tuesday states. You can pause this video, see for yourself. Let's go down here. Again, South Carolina, Nevada, New Hampshire, Iowa, all favor a single government health insurance plan for all over the current system. So here's the man in Joe Biden, who has lied about during this campaign, lied about his involvement in the civil rights movement, lied about getting arrested in South Africa trying to meet Nelson Mandela. But he couldn't just lie here? I mean, you couldn't just say in the impossible scenario that Joe Biden becomes president, and the even more impossible scenario that under him, the Senate and the House passes Medicare for all, even though he doesn't support it. Under that impossible scenario, he couldn't just say, yes, I would pass it because he could have just said, well, I guess if it's passed in the House and the Senate, then yeah, I'll pass it because it guarantees healthcare for all. He could have just said that, given an olive branch out to the progressive movement that right now is not going to support Joe Biden if he keeps acting like this. He keeps saying no to Medicare for all, but yes to putting Jamie Dimon and Michael Bloomberg in his cabinet. Like, are you crazy? Are you trying to lose the election? This is Hillary Clinton 2.0, but much, much, much worse. Hillary Clinton was at least a competent candidate. She could get through sentences. She was coherent. Joe Biden isn't, and he has the same policies, if not worse. It is just, it's mind-boggling. One more thing here. The explanation as to why Joe Biden has this perspective, as Jordan Alt tweets out, we seriously do not need to nominate this guy. There is another choice. So this may give you a hint as to why Joe Biden does not support single-payer health care. This is from March 4th. Biden comeback drives $48 billion gain for health insurers. The health insurance industry is excited about Joe Biden. And they're also backing him with campaign contributions, which I'm sure they're just giving out of the goodness of their own hearts. Not because they think it's going to influence him, but just because they like Joe Biden. So we're going to give him lots of money. This is your last shot. This is your last shot at avoiding Donald Trump. You have to nominate Bernie Sanders. Young people under 45, working class voters are not going to come out for Joe Biden. It's going to be a disaster if Joe Biden's a nominee. And even if by some miracle Joe Biden wins, then what? Then you're put back into the same scenario, the same kind of politics that got you Donald Trump to begin with.